hangout on Saturday. That was awesome.
Oh, good. I'm glad you did.
Hey, Richard, not long.
Hey, man. How you doing? Welcome to the call.
Doing pretty good.
Oh, that's so small.
Rob Janino checking in out of Austin now.
Hey, Rob. Hey guys, give me let me know if any of you guys are actually on the Hangout. I've got it up and we're.
I'm on the Hangout.
Okay, so you can see us?
I can see Richard.
All right. You should see Mary here in a second since we're on a little bit of a time delay, so.
I just see Mary Kay.
All right, here we go. I don't know why that's so small.
They're on the phone as well as the TV?
Well, yeah, and I'll mute the lines, so whatever somebody's listening to will be, they'll only hear one or the other. So recommend that you don't have both on. If you have both on, then you're going to get a delayed voice from the computer. So I would just choose one or the other unless you don't have speakers. If you don't have speakers on your computer at work, then you're going to have to use the conference line and then watch the video. Hey guys, welcome to the call. When you come on, just go ahead and state your name and where you're calling in from.
Hey, this is Greg Miller from Dallas.
Hey Greg, how you doing?
Great.
Awesome.
And you need to read your banners shown before.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. Yeah, it's looking good on the Hangout.
All right, good.
Johnny, if you're in touch, don't go to Texas. You need to introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from and if you're registered for Power Trip or Ambition. All right, welcome.
Put this one here. Oh, you got that one.
Michelle, you're in Austin. Welcome, Austin.
Those of you that are on the Hangout, we're having.
Jennifer Brown from Vancouver, Washington.
Well, that's not.
Vancouver, welcome.
Those of you that are on the Hangout, we're having a little bit of fun here, so.
Mona, I'm from Dallas, Texas, ready for Ambition and simulcast. All right, welcome, Mona. Cynthia Edwards, Houston, Texas. H-Town, welcome, Houston. All right, everybody, it's 9 o'clock on the dot. We're going to go ahead and get this call started. We want to respect your time. My name is Manny Salazar. I'm a senior consultant from.
Muted that. You gotta love technology. Network marketers trying to figure this stuff out. So we should be back live. Go ahead and text Mary if you're on the Google Hangout and that you can see the live video feed. We'll obviously get this video cleaned up so it's not got all this other junk in it. But a couple of housekeeping things is we are doing the conference line, which is separate for those of you that may be in the car, or maybe your speakers don't work as well on your laptop or computer as you'd like. Just make sure you've got one or the other speaker off. We've got you muted, but if you've got both speakers going, what's going to happen is you're going to get a delayed voice of the same thing that was just said 5-7 seconds ago. So just choose one or the other speakers. If you're just purely on the Google Hangout, then you're fine. Just your speakers and everything else should be fine there. But did we get a text back? Everything's good? Mm-hmm. Okay, guys, we've got a few viewers that are on there, so want to make sure video's up. Okay, everything's good. So we're going now. So a couple of things also want to touch base on. For those of you that are in the Dallas area, Mary and I host a business presentation at the DoubleTree Hotel that's done at 7:30. Done at 7:30 at the DoubleTree Hotel. That's at Midway and 635. That should be a pretty extraordinary presentation tomorrow night. There's a lot of new activity going on. We got lots of executives that are going to be there in town, so we'll have some new faces as well. So we want you guys to definitely plug into that meeting and come see us. We'd love to see you. We will be doing the meeting after the meeting, which is what we call fuzzy tacos. We don't have stock in that company, and we don't get any referrals. We don't get residual from Fuzzy Tacos, but we make Fuzzies apparently a lot of money on Thursday nights. So we typically head up on Midway Road and go to Fuzzy Tacos and take over the place. It's $1.50 taco night there. So join us. We get a chance to do some planning and some fellowship and get to know you and your new people that much better.
Let me say a little bit of something about those meeting after the meetings. A lot of you guys jet off after the meeting. I highly recommend that if a group of consultants, especially if there's some of the leaders or people who have been successful in the business are going, you need to be there. That is where we got all of our training in the early days. There was no conference calls. There were no Google Hangouts. There were no simulcast trainings or power trips. It really was the meeting after the meeting, and we would go with whoever was successful in the business, and we would make sure that we got real close to them. And I always had my notebook. And a lot of times we had an issue that we were dealing with that we didn't know what to do. And sometimes we didn't have really many issues that were going on that was like a big problem. And so one of the things that we would do is I would say, hey, this is what's happening in our business. What can we do to put more fuel on the fire? What can we do to increase our results? What conversations do we need to have? Where do we need to focus our attention? Are we doing what we need to be doing? And sometimes the answer was do exactly what you're doing, just do more of it. Sometimes it was quit saying this and do this, or quit doing this and say this. And so there was always constant tweaking of how we were building our business. And it wasn't weekly like you have an opportunity to now. It was probably once every few weeks, and we took advantage of every opportunity. And that really is where you get the vast majority of your training. If you will take advantage of those times and really utilize them, you will skyrocket your business. That's one thing I'm really excited about, is spending some extended time with our team up in Boston and New Hampshire and Scranton, and really developing those relationships and having those late night meetings and trainings between sessions. That's really where you hone your skills. And I highly recommend, if you're not already doing it, to go do that. And some of you are going to these dinners and you're enjoying yourselves and you're connecting, and that's great. But don't forget that it's a great time for you to get your skills really honed so that you can have some more success in the business.
And I promise that tomorrow night I won't have the thing going here. It's not No Shave March. It's just been kind of a lazy past couple of days. So I'll be clean shaven for tomorrow night. So don't worry about that. But Mary's right. You know, that's where you get your best training. I mean, we can't obviously physically meet with everyone, but when we have a group meeting like that, it is an opportunity for us to get to know you, as well as you knowing other people that are in the business, and really learn what's happening on the court. It's easy to feel like an island in this business sometimes. We've all got the same tools. You got the same 24 hours in a day. You got the same compensation plan. You got the same access to territories as everybody else. So why is somebody else growing the business and you're struggling in an area that they're not? So that's where we borrow wisdom and experience and strength from other people that aren't. I mean, there's some things that I pick up from some of the new executives that are up and coming, and I have no pride, not ashamed. Whatever's working and whatever's duplicating, that's what I want to have access to, and that's what we're encouraging you to take access to. And bottom line is we want to work with you as closely as you want to work with us. And we don't do this full time because we don't enjoy it. We love what we do, and we'd love to be more a part of your business. So a little bit about our training, and I know Mary will have a little bit to say about this, just so you know, our travel. When we're traveling, for some reason, people that are in our local market all of a sudden think that we can't be called when we're traveling. Whether we're in Dallas, whether we're in Houston, Boston, Scranton, doesn't matter where we are, the phone works just the same. Don't worry about our schedule. We'll manage our schedule. We're constantly juggling calls back and forth. If I'm on a three-way phone call and someone's calling in, I'll say, hey, call Mary right now. She's available. So take full advantage of just utilizing the phone, and no matter where you are and no matter where we are. If you were my next door neighbor, you would get the same kind of coaching than if you're Rob in Boston. It's over the phone. I mean, I do all the coaching pretty much over the phone. It's very rare that I have to sit down and do a planning session with somebody. Our business model is much more simple than that. I'm not saying it's not appropriate or necessary sometimes if you're in the same geographic area to get together, but let's not have geography dictate how quick we build our business. It's still speed over strategy. So don't get stuck with, well, I'm here, you're there, I don't know how to make that work. It's the phone. I mean, we're using this Google Hangout, and I hope more of you start utilizing this. And if for some reason you were scared about, you didn't have a Google account, but you went to the YouTube account, that's great. I'll see who that was later. But start using this stuff, because we want to be able to bring a little bit more personableness to the business as much as possible. As big as it's getting, there's a lot of people who just haven't had a chance to meet, and we really want to be able to make this more real for people, and realize that we're real people, and we're just here to help.
Yeah. I mean, it was funny. I don't know if some of y'all caught it, but you probably saw our oldest daughter going up the stairs right here earlier in the call. And the thing I just want to express to you, I was talking to another executive consultant on the phone tonight, and a group of them are going to be going up to Brian McClure's ranch this weekend to spend some time with him. And there was a mom that's struggling because her kids aren't feeling well, and she's feeling guilty leaving them. And I think a lot of people give you and I slack for when it looks like we're putting our Ambit energy business before our family. And let me tell you, there's only one thing that I disagree with Brian McClure about in his philosophy in building his business is when he says you got to put your God first, then your family, then Ambit. And I disagree with him in that because, I don't know if you've ever heard of the book, Men Are Like Waffles and Women Are Like Spaghetti. Women are just all, combined. Everything's layered on top of each other. And let me tell you, if it wasn't for my kids and for my God and what God's called me to do, I wouldn't put Ambit as a big priority in my life, especially now while we're financially free. We would not be on this Google Hangout. I would be upstairs hanging out with my 18-year-old daughter and talking about her future. It would not be about this. We're doing this because of what God's called us to do, because of our kids and what we want to provide for them. So sometimes for you, we want you to know we're just normal people. We're here just like you, trying to create a better life for our kids and our family and our future grandkids, whenever that day will be very far in the future. But really, we want to express to you how doable this is. It's not rocket science. It's not pie in the sky. It's not fantasy thinking. It really is doable if you put one foot in front of the other and you just keep taking the right steps over and over and over again. And they don't have to be huge steps. They just have to be the right steps and directed steps over and over and over again. And over time, you're going to look up and you're going to have this huge, incredible, successful business, and you're going to be in awe that it ever happened for you. But it is going to take some effort for you to get to that point.
So we're gonna email out the details on our travel, but there's one other thing I wanted to say about that. We We don't rely on email. And I know a lot of you guys send us emails sometimes, and sometimes it's a 2 or 3 day response time. There's a good reason for that. There's hundreds of emails that come to Mary and I on a regular basis. It is not a primary source of communication for us. Don't take as an offense if we do not get back to you right away. Typically, I will reply back to an email and say, call me if I've seen it. And that's really the best way. Call and text is the best way to communicate with us. And then obviously if there's information that has to be exchanged, such as a file or something like that, then yeah, sometimes email is better. But like a bill, a copy of a bill, that can be text over. So just realize that, you know, we send out emails to the Power Zone as a one-way communication. I know you guys sometimes reply to that. Please take no offense. We don't mean it. We're just, you know, hammer down on the phone, doing three-way phone calls, coaching calls, getting new marketing consultants started, and we're just focused on that. And then obviously your customer and bills and things that you need to review, do that all through text. Don't send us an email and say, hey, call me. We're way more flexible and available than most people that are on our team. And the chances of you calling me and me picking up are probably a whole lot higher than me calling you when you're at work and you can't pick up. So let's just go forward doing that, and don't leave us leave a voicemail if you like. Another worst form of communication with us. If you do leave a voicemail, send us a text saying, hey, I left you a voicemail. Also, especially if there was critical information, and if not, it's just, hey, I left you a voicemail also, please call me when you get a chance. And typically speaking, those of you that do call, we have some auto responders that we reply to back very quickly. If I see someone calling in and I'm on a three-way phone call, I hit a button, it says I'm on a three-way. So that way you know what I'm in the middle of, and I'll get back to you, I promise, as soon as possible. And then the same thing for Mary and I. If you should reach out to us and you didn't get a prompt response, like 30 minutes to an hour or whatever that might be, then call back. You're not going to bother us. We're really, really not going to be offended because you aggressively are trying to reach us and trying to get a solution. We're always wanting to work with the people that are seeking solutions versus people that are overreacting to things. So make sure that you are being diligent in your communications back out to us to reach us. Next thing I wanted to touch base, I know Mary's going to have a lot to say about this as well, is make sure you're getting your marketing consultants started right. You know, Jerry Thompson, when he formed the company, had said to be the finest and most respected retail energy provider in the country, and then he was followed up by never sacrifice integrity for growth. So there's been a lot of growth. There's been some integrity sacrificed. Now, not ethics. I haven't seen any ethics sacrificed, but I have seen some methodologies of how consultants have been recruited versus sponsored, and then how they've gotten started afterwards. And you can tell by the number of people that join and don't even get their first 2 customers and get their bonus, or their first 3 customers, depending on what market you're in. And, you know, that's just a crying shame. So we got to make sure that we're getting marketing consultants started right. And here's the thing, we can regroup right now and we can get them restarted. It's like you can go back to them and say, hey man, I know, you know, the way we got your business started, you know, didn't work out, life got in the way, that's fine, let's go ahead and restart. I always say there's 2 dates in every Ambit consultant's career, and preferably they're the same date, but it's the date you join and it's the date you start. Now, hopefully that's the same date for you. For Mary and I, it was not. Those were 6 months apart. We joined and then we started about 6 months later. So you don't have to go that route. You know, we've got a system, plug into it, use the upline leadership, and then we'll make sure we're helping you get those invitations out and getting those follow-ups done.
For Robert O'Neill, I'm going to smile. I was just thinking about starting your consultants right. When the way you start a consultant really sets up a foundation for how they're going to approach their Ambit energy business. You cannot have people come into the business just because it's open enrollment. For them to come in just because it's open enrollment doesn't do you or them any good. So even when they come in during open enrollment, they don't even count towards your promotion. And if they're not going to go get customers, they're not going to make any money for themselves. They're going to waste $26.60, and they're not going to make any money for you. So all that time you've spent with them is for nothing. So it's really, really important that they're clear what they're getting into. They have watched the video presentation. You have gone through a phone call with them. You have gone through the initial steps and what they need to do to have success in the business. Because if you skip all that and just get them started because it's a great deal, it doesn't matter how great the deal is. It's no different than, I don't know if men will understand this analogy, but I know women will, because I've been there and I know a lot of you have. Let's say you're at a clearance sale and you find this really great deal on some incredible dress, shoes, shorts, jeans, jacket, whatever that is, and you think this is a fantastic deal and you buy it. You would never buy it at full price, but because it was such a great deal and it was about 80% off, you're going to buy it. And it sat in your closet year after year after year after year. And finally, one day you decide you're going to give it away.
With the tags on.
With the tags on, because you're not going to wear it. And I know you ladies understand what I'm telling you because you've been there. And that's what this business is. If they're only coming in because it's open enrollment, they're going to be like that dress or those shoes or whatever that is that just sits in your closet year after year and collects dust. And then you got to actually go and remove it. And so they've got to be willing to pay the $429 to get in, and they're excited that they don't have to. It's got to be good enough for them to pay $429 to invest that in themselves and in their future for them to get started. Because if they're just coming in because it's open enrollment and you're leading with that and you're telling them that, and that's the reason why they're getting started, they're not going to do anything. And they're gonna be frustrated when they have to pay another $26, and you're gonna be frustrated because you've got all these people in your business that aren't doing anything. So it's not about you going out and finding a whole bunch of people in the business. It's about you going out and finding a few people who are gonna be committed, who are gonna keep working this business day in, day out until they have success. It is what we've been saying all along. It's the three, you go out and you go get three, who each go get three, who each go get three. And it's doing that over and over and over again. And you got to keep searching until you find people who are committed to actually doing that. Because if people aren't committed to doing that, it doesn't make any difference how many people you personally sponsor. You could go out and personally sponsor 100 people during open enrollment in the next 3 weeks. And I'm telling you, that is doable. But if you sponsor 100 people and you take shortcuts in how you sponsor them, and you're just trying to get them across the finish line, they're going to die right there at the finish line. And they will not run another race. And it doesn't matter that you cross the finish line, because that is barely the start of this race of financial freedom. So I'm just, I'm telling you this because we've seen it a lot. I mean, literally, probably at least twice a week, we get an email telling us that they want to cancel their website. And literally, it's people who have been in the business less than 10 days because they didn't get started right. Someone didn't show them the video. They never got them on a three-way call. They didn't explain how it worked. They didn't realize it was a recurring monthly website fee. Whatever, there's a litany of things that happen. But at least twice a week, sometimes twice a day, we will get an email saying that from somebody in the business. And so I don't want you to waste your time building a business that's going to crumble. I don't want you to build a house of cards. I want you to build an incredible brick house, because this is something that you're going to build for your family, and you don't want it to fall apart just because you cut some corners. So just don't do that. It's not worth it.
You know, I've got the slide up right now. Now, this is for Texas. Obviously, in the other market, it shows 3 customers, but really in Texas, you know, if you're focused on really looking for the types of people that Ray Monty was speaking about on the national call, and I put that link, then I emailed it out through the Power Zone with one other video that I'll talk a little bit more about here in a minute. And that is looking for those 3, that are hungry, that have desire, that are coachable, that want to go build a business. And it's 3 who can go get 3. It's not 3 that you can get. Anyone can go get 3, but that doesn't make anyone any money. Putting somebody in the business just for the sake of putting them in a business doesn't help anyone. Matter of fact, it might even actually hurt the opportunity. So I would say you've got to really look at, and I'm not saying over prejudge, right? But you're looking at, okay, I'm bringing you into the business. You really want to do this. So let's get your list out and let's go find your 3, because we got to go find your 3 who can go get 3. And you do that with your 3 personal prospects, your personal consultants. You know, and we're going to send out an abbreviated jumpstart guide a little bit for people to really kind of hone in and try to make it a little bit more concise and have a little bit more speed over strategy. And we'll be emailing that out later as well. But it's really going to be focused on getting that quick list together of 10 to 25 names that you can go show the business to over the next 7 days. And that's doable, whether that's 2 people a day, 3 people a day, 4 people a day. You can do that. Anyone can do that. We've got the tools. You've got to use the tools. If you're waiting for the business presentation to go build this meeting, go build the business, you got one time at bat. But your website's run 24/7. You've got flexibility that you can squeeze in time. You got to find that time that other people do and get them to take a look and get them on a 3-way phone call. But you want to be able to demonstrate something that's duplicatable that they'll go do. I've constantly talked to people over the past month that they joined. And it's like, what have you been doing? Well, I've just been hanging out, and I figured I'd get my customers later. I really didn't need to. The $100 wasn't important to me. And I explained to them, listen, the Jumpstart bonus is for starting your story. It's not just the money. It's about you starting the story, because when you go sponsor somebody, how are you going to tell them, well, I got my customers, so you can get yours? Well, if you didn't, then you can't. So you got to redouble your efforts. Now, Mary and I didn't get our customers, but once we got figured out what we needed to be doing, we actually made up for lost time. It took us 6 months to get promoted to regional, and it took us another 16 days after that to get promoted to senior consultant. And that was done through just a lot of quick, hard work, mostly on Mary's part with doing that. And so it's doable. But some of you guys get hung up and you start looking at this slide right here, and all you see is thousands of consultants and thousands of customers. But what you don't realize is that it all starts with just 3. And that's the reality of it. You can do this. You got to burn this in your mind that this is something you can do, and you're going to focus on creating a duplicatable model. It doesn't matter what works. It only matters what duplicates. I've got somebody right now that's brought in two people personally, and they're on day 26 and day 27, and they don't understand why they haven't gotten their customers. And I said, well, you've not been at a meeting. They've not been to a meeting. They've not been introduced to the upline. They're not making invitations. They're not doing 3-way phone calls. What do you think's going to happen? They're following your lead. You are creating duplication, just not the duplication that you actually want.
The thing about that slide too, and I'm going to have Richard move on from the slide, is that you have to look for 3 who can get 3. And if they're not going out to get 3, then you haven't found your 3 yet. So if you sponsor 3 people and they're not all going out to get 3, then you haven't done your job, and you need to go get another one and potentially that person can go get 3. And then the other thing you have to do is, once they go get 3, you have to inspect, did they just go get 3, or did they go get 3 who can get 3? So you're actually having to have to train and develop your consultants also, and you're partnering with your upline senior and executive consultants. You don't have to do it on your own, but you have to be the one to say, hey, I got 3 who have gotten 3, but the 3 that I've got, those that are getting 3, they're not getting 3 who can get 3. What do I need to do? Help. Because we can't see everything that's happening. I mean, Richard and I wanted to go through all the new consultants to look and see who do we need to work with. And it's virtually impossible to find the new consultants who have sponsored consultants. I mean, it is a very hard job to figure out which consultants have already sponsored consultants if we don't have the consultants that are between them and us saying, hey, this is someone you need to take a look at. This is someone you need to work with. This is someone that needs your attention. It's virtually impossible to see that. So if you're someone who's out there, you're sponsoring and you think you're doing what you need to do, but you're not having the kind of success you want to have, it's your job to be the squeaky wheel, to reach out to your upline senior and executive consultant and say, hey, I want this bad, and what do I need to do to get to the next step? What do I need to do to get to the next level? Because it's usually just a little bit of tweaking. If you're taking action and you're willing to take action and you're willing to be coached, a lot of times it's just something minor that you're doing or not doing that's going to help you get to that next level.
Keep the right perspective, guys. Sometimes when people hear us talking, we're always talking from a full-time mindset, and full-time really is just a mindset. No one starts off in this business full-time. You'd lose your house and you'd probably go hungry trying to build this from day one as a full-time business. So you really got to make sure that you understand that you're just taking consistent action over time every day, and it's daily. And so if you're, making invitations daily, you're doing follow-ups daily, you're getting coaching daily, you're doing three-way phone calls daily, I promise you, you are going to promote, you are going to make more money, you are going to be a leader in this business. Those are the simple requirements. And one of the things that I told Mary, and I've told a few of the other leaders that I want to see come out of this is, and we're going to be putting a document together for this, and I really want to know who's going to be bought in. So I'm giving you forewarning. It's not going to have a lot of wiggle room. It's going to be strict and stringent, but it's not going to be beyond somebody who's working an 80-hour work week that they still could do it. We're looking for 100 consultants that have newly come in, or consultants that have been in the business anywhere in our organization. It doesn't matter. There's no birth date that matters to us. We're looking for 100 consultants that are going to buy in to be the 100 that go get 1,000 that turn into 10,000. And that's going to create a bunch of executives in doing that. And it's similar to the idea of 3 who get 3. It starts with a small beginning. And some of you are starting with a pretty good foundation, but we got to go find that 100 that we can turn into 1,000, that we can turn into 10,000, and go ahead and write some incredible, ridiculous success stories. But we're going to be sending that out. And I'm not saying that's going to give you private, above, beyond access to us versus anyone else that's just getting started in the team. It's just where we want to start from, and knowing who's raising their hand that says, I do want this bad enough. I do want to change my life. I know I can't do it overnight, but I'm willing to go through the fire. I'm willing to go through the purification. And remember, we've always said this takes a degree of humility. This does take something on your part to be willing to follow and submit to a process. And most people don't like doing that. And that's okay if you don't want to do that. We'll work with you when you call in or whenever you got questions. But understand, we are going to raise up the next level of leadership in Ambit, and it's going to start with that 100. And if it ends up being where 125 said they want to be a part of that, like no kidding, I want to be a part of that, and I want to go through the process, then great, we'll take 125. But understand, I'm looking for a minimum of 100. If we surpass that, that's more than fine. Just know no one's being eliminated. And if someone comes in next month and they want to be a part of that, well, great, we'll make them a part of that as well. But you got to lay it on the line and say, listen, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. This is my family's future that's on the line. And it doesn't mean you have to end your career. Doesn't mean you have to quit being a doctor if you're a doctor. Doesn't mean you have to drop out of college if you're in college. It just means that what you're wanting to do is to get the most out of this, and you're willing to be coached through the process. And the excuses that commonly come up for why people don't build their business are not an option. Mary and I don't have a lot of compassion for a lot of circumstances, a lot of excuses, because we've gone through it. If you're saying, well, I can't because of time, guess what? You're never going to be able to give the testimony of saying, listen, I was working 60 hours a week and I still built my business. I was working 80 hours a week and I still built my business, and you can too. But if you give in to time conversations in your own business, then you're never going to be able to lead somebody else through the process, and you'll always be hoping that someone's stronger than you. We need you to be the stronger one. You've got to be the one that sets the standard for your organization, that somebody has something to follow.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to prevent you from having radical success in this business is you. And, we probably... it was our time. I mean, and I have compassion for every excuse in the world, just because we've been there. We've got young kids and we've been there. I've had complicated pregnancies. We've been through financial strife. We've had times where it was really rough. We've had times where we virtually had zero time. I mean, we were so tapped out on time that I was not open to even looking at the Ambit opportunity when it was first brought to us. I wasn't even open to looking at all. I wasn't going to look at it. I was going to entertain it. And so I have compassion for that, but I don't have compassion for people who are unwilling to go beyond it, to go past it, because that's the very reason why you want to build your Ambit business, is because of that. And one of the things It's actually kind of perfect, but those of you on the Google Hangout, you can see right here on Richard's behind him, you see right there, that squirrely thing has kind of been bugging me half the night. And I turned around earlier to look and see what that was. And it's actually a perfect thing. I'm going to use it as an example. So for those of you not on the Google Hangout, behind Richard is a Bible study set. And it's got this real swirly thing on it. But when you look at it and keep watching while I move it, you see it? You can't even see it because it's a decal. It's like an embossing on it, but hit at a particular angle, you see something completely different. And why I'm actually pointing that out, it's a perfect book. It's Honors Reward by John Bevere, which is an awesome book and awesome study. But why I'm pointing that out is that is what coaching makes available. You see, we see at a different angle than you see. You might see this. You might see that your business isn't doing anything and you can't see anything and you can't tell that anything's happening. But we see from a different angle and we can see that something is starting to appear that wasn't there before. And we can start to see it a little more clearly just because we're at a different angle and we see something. We're looking for something that you don't have training to look for yet. And so that's why it's important. If you really want to buy in and you really believe that this is the business that's going to catapult you to the next level financially, you got to be willing to submit to the process. I mean, it is a process and it takes time and it takes courage and it takes willingness to put down whatever it is you think it should be and be willing to be coached and mentored. You know, Richard had a conversation with somebody earlier today who didn't want to do the Ambit system, but still wanted coaching. Listen, we don't have any coaching outside the Ambit system. If you want to go and go buy leads and all that, that's fine, but that's not part of the system. So we don't have a whole lot of coaching in that. We didn't build our business that way. If you want to go stand on a street corner and wear a sandwich sign, you can go do that, but we're not going to coach you in that because that's not part of the system that we built our business on. We're going to train you in the Ambit energy business, in this system. We're not saying it's the only system that works. It is the system that works. There might be another thing that works better than what we've developed so far. My recommendation is go try that thing, but run this simultaneously because we know this works. That is research and development. Whatever that other thing is, you don't have any idea whether or not that's going to work or not. This does work. I mean, we had, I don't know if it was dinner or a meeting or phone conversation with Frank Schmeling. He's a national consultant, number 6 or number 7 income earner in the entire company. And he said, you know, when he first got into Ambit, he didn't listen. He didn't listen to any of this stuff. He was a traditional business owner. He went out and built this business traditionally. He bought advertising, wrapped his car. He was the Ambit mobile. He was Mr. Ambit. Wasted how much? $100,000 or something on advertising. Didn't make diddly squat. Didn't bring in any consultants. And finally decided I'm going to submit to this system because I don't know anything about direct sales. And I've been highly successful in all my traditional businesses, but I've not had success in this. And so I'm going to submit to this process. And now he's a top income earner knocking down the door of his $5 million jacket. So it does take some time. And I love that that book was right there that caught my eye because that really is a picture perfect depiction of what coaching makes available because we can see something. And there are times where Richard and I get stuck in what to coach you on, and we'll debrief with each other and we'll talk about some of you consultants, and we're gonna discuss some of the conversations we've had. Listen, you guys are always on our mind. We're always thinking about what can we do to make things better for you? What can we do to help you grow your business faster? And sometimes it's collectively as a group, and sometimes it's individual. Sometimes there are particular consultants that are on our heart that we just want to win. I mean, there's some of you that I'm just rooting for and I'm praying for, and you're in my thoughts and you really are in my prayers that there is breakthrough that happens in your business. And I know that it's available and it's coming. That's what I know, that it's all coming, but it doesn't come on accident. It comes with effort. It comes with action.
Absolutely. So there's some materials that we've put together that, you know, for a consolidated, I'd say, you know, jumpstart guide to get new MC started. And you can go back with some of your people that have come in and be able to say, hey, we've got a new way that we can kind of retool some things. And Also, there's some new scripts in there that have been kind of working. Actually, some of them are putting it to Facebook or a text message, which in Ambit in general has now, I wouldn't say has been frowned upon, but since we started off with, I'll say, an older crowd, the young people tend to do a lot of texting, and I do believe that business needs to get done on the phone. But there are some methodologies that can be used, I think, to get the conversation or get the ball started, to get them on the phone, to get them to take a look. And we're going to be sending that out as well. I would highly, highly encourage you, and I've watched this video multiple times, is the link that I sent of Art Williams, who was the founder of Primerica, or founder of A.O. Williams, and then sold to Primerica, and has recently come back to Primerica and speaking and doing various things for them. But he has such a way of communicating of what we're looking for and what it takes to be successful in anything. And so I hope that you pull the nuggets and tools out of it. If you can watch it tonight, I think you'll probably have a hard time going to sleep. So watch it anyway. It's better than CSI. It's going to be better than anything else, Dancing with the Stars or whatever else is on right now. But I think that would be one of the best things that you can do, or listening to Ray Monty from the National Call again, or if you haven't even heard that the first time, do watch that. We are always looking for ways to improve ourselves and ways that we can be better leaders for you guys. And all we're looking for is for those of you that actually do want to follow a plan. Mary said something really great today that I don't know where I heard it from. I don't know where she heard it from, but heard it so many times that I thought we came up with it, but I don't think we did.
No, we definitely didn't.
And she said, you don't get to choose who follows you. You only get to choose who you follow. And I think that's the epitome of Ambit Energy. You get to choose who you follow, but you don't get to choose who follows you. You've got to set yourself in motion in such a way that people want to follow you. And not all are going to follow you. And Ray said it best, a quote that he took from another network marketer, top income earner from another company. And he said, listen, Ray, if you're going to go to the moon, pack light. Not everyone's going with you. You can only take a few. And I think we can take more than just a few on the Ambit journey to the moon, but it's not going to be everyone. And those of you that have been had incredible growth during this open enrollment, I think you understand more than anyone else that it doesn't matter what the price is for Ambit, monetarily wise, not everyone's going to pay the price they need to actually go build it. And that price is a lot easier than most people really figure out. I was on a call with someone earlier today, and he says, I don't have time because I know how much this is going to take. And I said, well, what if I could tell you that you could build this 15 to 30 minutes a day and get financially free? And they said, I'm listening. See, people think they know what it takes to build this. They think they know how much time it takes, but they really don't. Our job as consultants is to show them how it can be done, and we got to work with them to the extent that they want to be worked with, and we'll help them get there every step of the way. All right, guys, we're going to sign off a little bit longer. We did really good. Only had a brief technology issue, so I'm glad about that. And I'll chastise AT&T Uverse later on. But we're looking forward to seeing you guys that are in the Dallas area tomorrow night at the DoubleTree Hotel. We'll send out the rest of our details of our travel. We fly out Friday, we'll be in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Friday night, and then for the training all day with Ray Monty, and then we'll be driving back over to the Boston area and working with Rob Giannino and his team that spreads now from all around Boston up to New Hampshire, and God only knows where else we're going to be there. But we'll be there through Thursday. We've got a variety of meetings. You might be able to plug some people into those meetings. We'd love to meet any of your new people that are in that area, and then I'll be staying over till the 28th for the Massachusetts launch, the launch of electricity, long and anticipated, brand new fresh market, which is great. But we are looking forward to being with corporate out there and all the new leaders and getting that territory started off with a bang. And then we'll be heading back home, and we'll be heading down to Houston. We'll be heading out to West Texas and anywhere else that we need to be to help you grow your business. You guys have a blessed evening. We'll talk to you soon.
Good night.
Hey guys, just having a little bit of fun here with the Google Hangout. Some Google effects here.
Party time.
Hmm?
No, that would, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I like that.
Oh, here. Oh, hey. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Whoops. Hey. Scary clown face. Oh, there we go. That's all you.
I think that's my next hairdo.
That's nice.
What do y'all think? There's
Good
13
stuff.
viewers. It's a good hairdo. I think that'll be next ambition.
All right. We're going to go ahead and sign off. Y'all have a blessed night. Talk to you soon.